Shin Megami Tensei 5 feels like the edgier, less sociable younger brother of Persona 5, even though Persona began as a spin-off of this series. Both branches of the family share much of their cast of highly customizable demons, like mythological Pokémon you smash together to make even more powerful ones. They have similar, excellent turn-based combat systems that encourage you to fish for your opponent's weaknesses and make smart use of every resource available to you. What's missing from the Persona formula here is a lot of its heart, but Shin Megami Tensei 5 still rises to succeed in most other ways. The bulk of the action takes place across 4 expansive open areas of the Netherworld, though Atlus is only allowing us to show gameplay from the first of them for now. Each has a very distinct vibe, diverging from a central theme of surreal techno-religious weirdness. While you'll fight lots of intense battles, these locales also encourage exploration and even some tricky platforming to find all of the hidden Memon. These little red dudes who give you a currency you can use for miraculous bonuses to your whole party or to customize the protagonist. And customization is the main pillar of SMT5. Since there are no human party members who stay with you for the whole adventure, you'll build a rotating team of 3 demons at a time who can all have their own strengths, weaknesses, and special tricks. Fusing 2 or more demons into stronger ones is central to your progression, but you can also hoard items called grimoires that let you continue powering up a couple specific demons you want to keep with you for the long haul, which I really appreciated. Things really get interesting when you factor in the Essence system, though, which lets you teach skills from a different demon to an existing one, and even inherit their elemental resistances and weaknesses. Between fusion, miracles, and essences, it's possible to create some absurdly powerful and specialized teams that can take on almost any challenge. The way these systems interact isn't spelled out especially well, but I really enjoyed the gradual path to mastering them myself through trial and error. An experimental mindset is a huge plus in this netherworld. And mastery is basically a necessity unless you want to play on one of the easier difficulties. Shin Megami Tensei has a reputation for being a brutally difficult series, and I was able to see why. Just using the strongest demons I came across naturally, I often got chewed up and spit out pretty quickly, especially against certain bosses and in the last quarter of the story. But that's only until I realized that the real challenge was in creating the perfect team for each area, and sometimes even each fight. All of the tools are there, and if you know how to use them, you can blow right past enemies that once seemed unbeatable. But there is no mercy to be found if you don't, so going in with the right mindset is a must.
You heard that talk about it being safer to go home in groups, right? You should walk with us.
Where SMT5 consistently fell short for me as a massive Persona fan, though, was the writing. It takes upwards of 20 hours to find any personal motivation beyond survival and figuring out what's going on, in contrast to Persona 5, which makes things personal right away. The companion characters are also very underdeveloped. You don't get to spend enough time with most of them for one thing, since they don't usually join you in battle. You run into them for a few minutes during cutscenes after many hours of adventuring, and none of them seem to have interesting backstories or even much of a character arc. They exist mostly as decoration on a story that cares much more about big concepts than people. The main story is definitely interesting, at least, and not just another rehash of God versus Satan for control of humanity's destiny. While I won't spoil anything, the 3 possible endings are a bit more nuanced than that. Although your decisions right up to the moment that you lock into one path don't seem to affect them at all. And things become pretty convoluted at the very end. It introduces an entirely new metaphysical concept through an expository dialogue dump at basically the last possible moment, which seems meant to recontextualize the whole situation, but then doesn't really explain how it works or even what exactly happened with it after the final battle. So This just left the last hour or so feeling like a somewhat cold, confusing conclusion to an epic 80-hour undertaking. At least the art throughout is great. It's every bit as visually stylish as any other Atlus game, and I love the design of the main character. The demons, both new and familiar to series veterans, look and sound awesome and have some fantastic unique attack animations. The music is pretty good too, though it isn't even in the same league as Persona 5, I have to say. With extremely deep and satisfying party customization, excellent combat, and challenging enemies, Shin Megami Tensei 5 never left me feeling bored or burned out. Exploration and platforming sections lend some much needed variety when you're fighting so many similar battles in a row. I just couldn't shake the feeling that this was Persona without the heart. Without the unforgettable companion characters, the potent personal story, the incredible soundtrack, and the jaw-dropping twists and turns. Still, if you're looking for a meaty JRPG to sink your teeth into, Shin Megami Tensei 5 has heaping portions of it. For more JRPGs, check out our reviews of Astria Ascending and Tales of Arise. And for everything else, keep it right here on IGN.